What's up, everybody? My name is Ike Stevens, KE5WDP. Welcome to WDP Ham Radio and Storm Chasing. Now, you clicked on this video because you're wondering, how do you get your ham radio license? Okay, and you're just looking for some advice. You could probably Google it, and it's like, okay, but I'm gonna kind of, you're doing your research. Okay, you're doing your research, and you stumble upon this video, and I'm going to give you my take, and I'm going to give you probably what I feel like the best way to do it. Okay, so there are three types of license. There's three tiers. There's the technician. Okay, now the technician doesn't mean you have to be a technician. What I mean by you don't have to sit here and work on stuff. Okay, that's just the name of it. Then you have the general. Okay, the general gives you more frequency allocations. Okay, the technician is the bottom level. Okay, it's your foot in the door. You're basically going to get your, you're going to have certain, like your 2 meter, 440, 10 meter, I believe 6 meter. Okay, and a few others, 220. You're going to have these levels, VHF, UHF, in that area. So, like, if you're into e-com, if you're into that kind of stuff, technician is what you're after. You have to get your technician first. Okay? You have to go. You can't go and say, hey, I just want to go get the general. Or I want to just go get an extra. Be an extra class. No, you got to take each level, right? So, you take your technician test, and that is basically your foot in the door. All right. Now, then you can go get a general. And what the general class is, and what most people, are, is you have more frequency allocation, more HF. I like to call it your HF license, right? And then you have your advanced. Okay, your advanced gives you all the frequency allocations and all that kind of stuff. All right, a general can administer a test to a technician, a new ham. All right, an advanced can go and administer tests not only for new hams but for people to upgrade. Okay, so we're called volunteer examiners. You may hear them called VEs. Okay, so when you go take a test, you're taking a test with other ham radio operators. Okay, that is where you're going to take your test. So there's a few things you could do before you take your test. Study. Okay, study. Now, if you're already into radios like CB radios, you'd be surprised how much you already know, especially when you go get your general license. Okay, if you're into propagation antennas and whatnot, the technician class is more about the rules and things of that nature, and some definitions. There's, I believe, in my opinion, the technician was a little bit more tougher than the general because I had so much experience with radios way before I ever got my license. Okay, so there are definitely some online study materials, or you could order books that give you everything. And I do suggest that you do this, okay? Because I'm going to tell you to go take practice tests, and you could go do that on QRZ, or you could go and just Google ham radio practice tests, because there's different websites. I went to, when I was studying, I went to QRZ.com, and they were word for word. You could basically memorize the question and answers. Okay, you can basically memorize this. I don't suggest you to do this. I suggest you to go and actually understand what the theory is behind the question and answer. But hey, you got a test coming up. You're going to go and take it this weekend. Go in there and do that. I don't blame you, because I did it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't do that. Some of these goody two-shoe ham radio operators are going to say, don't you dare go and memorize. Like, no, but I do also suggest that you go and actually understand what's going on. Get these books. You'll always you'll always have them, right? You'll always have them. You can get them on arrl.org. You could always have these tests. W5YI, I believe, too. There's all sorts of places you can get these study materials. You could have them that way in case you need to know something that maybe you can't Google or whatever. Go to that book and you'll have it there. So I definitely suggest you to do that. But if you're going to take a test, and you want to pass it, you don't want to sit there and feel all rejected. Freaking, the embarrassment of not freaking passing. Go and study by memorizing the freaking question and answers. I'm not going to be that guy that sits there and don't do it. I'm going to sit because I did it. Okay, I did it twice. So there you go. Now you're sitting there saying, where do I take a test? Where do I go? I have no clue. And here's what you also need to do. Go to Google. Okay. Ask Google, say, how do I take a ham radio test? Or where do I take a ham radio test? One of the first websites that pops up is arrl.org, which would be Amateur Radio Relay League. Okay, and that website will pop up, and you can put in your zip code, and it's going to give you a bunch of radio clubs in that area, and you go and reach out. These radio clubs have Facebook groups, they have email, they have things you could do that you could just say, hey, reach out to these people, say, hey, I hear that you guys have a test, or you administer tests for, ham radio. These guys can tell you exactly when they do the test, okay, and what you need to bring with you, okay? So reach out to that local club. That's what we're here for, these local clubs, is to promote amateur radio, okay, and help people get their license, okay? And those club members, those people, they're going to help you study. They're going to say, hey, if you have any questions about what is a balun? What is the purpose of a balun? All right, they could help you. They could help you understand it. All right, that's the beauty of today's world. You can just Google everything and it's there. But let me just say that you can Google it, get all your answers through the cheap way and all that kind of stuff. But also study, learn. Watch YouTube videos. There's plenty of you. I've learned so much ham radio stuff over the years for watching YouTube videos. All right, and I get interested. I get down this rabbit hole, and it's like, oh, man, this guy's doing cool stuff. All right, for me personally, there's all sorts of different reasons why I started into amateur radio. I was so interested, and that's for another video, I think, because that's going to be a long video. But the short story is that I grew up around it. My parents were into it, okay, and I enjoy the storm chasing, the storm spotting. These are things that you get to be a part of, Skywarn and things of that nature. And there's all sorts of things, but you may not be into e-communication, right? Emergency communications, right? E-com. Right? You may not be into that. You may just want to just go have a radio just to talk to somebody on the radio. Just old school talking. Whether it be on a 2-meter repeater, or when you have this HF radio back here, where you can just talk all over the world, or all over your state, or all over the country, or maybe you already have some people out there that you want to talk to. All right, I will say this one last thing. All right, the purpose. And this is the thing that I love, because I'm also into CB radio. I'm not one of those stuck-up guys. But here's the thing. Ham radio does weed out the bad apples. Okay? It does. Don't get all of them. All right? Don't get all of them, because you get them come through, right? But I will say this, is that ham radio is the great dumbass filter. And pardon my French, but it is. Now, you still get the dumbasses, But it is a great dumbass filter because of this. Is because, well, you got to pass the test, okay? All right, you got to do that, and you got to take the steps to do it, right? Not you're studying for it, then you got to go and find a club and do all this stuff, and then you got to buy the equipment. All right, and buying equipment can be a big turnoff for a lot of people because stuff's expensive. All right, these radios, if you come from CB radio and you say, hey man, that $500 radio is a big time radio, $500 ain't gonna buy you diddly squat and a ham radio. I mean, it just ain't. All right, yeah, I mean, you get you a 2-meter, for a couple $100, okay, but if you gonna get an HF radio, yeah, $500 ain't gonna buy you diddly squat. All right, you have to be dedicated. Let's just say that. You have to be dedicated to this. It's fun. There's all sorts of different things you can do with ham radio, but guarantee you, you may just break the bank in this hobby. And it is just what it is. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, we got storm chasing happening. That's what we do here. Ham radio, storm chasing. Just have a good old time, and try to help out the public when we can, right? When we can. And that's, we do it for for a hobby, but we do it to help out the public when we're there, all right? When we need to be there. So anyways, thanks for watching. 73.